Good morning. Welcome to Elisa Marie Designs. I am Elisa Maria. Welcome back if you are back, and welcome if you are new. I'm happy you are here. You're here for Saturday. Summer with the Masters Saturday. That's what I'm calling it these days. And this is the way I'm going to start opening up all my videos. Because, I was getting ready to hit record, and it was already recording, and I go like this to hit the button to record, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're already recording. I should just do a whole blooper reel of all the times that I'm already recording before I'm ready. So I'm not feeling good, you guys. Let me show you what's going on, and then I'll tell you why I'm not feeling good. Probably the way most of you are not feeling good is because of this weather. Now, I don't really know what's going to happen here with this video because I did an hour and a half of diamond painting yesterday. Opened this section up, this whole section I was diamond painting, and I was just feeling so sick, nauseous with the heat, with the weather. The drills were not cooperating. I don't know what it is with this tray. I have some of my drills that I use all the time in these trays that I bought, and I opened them up and they're sticking. And I had said this before to you guys. Do you have a problem with your drills when the weather is like this? Like, not just putty and not just wax that we know. Putty gets very stringy, wax kind of sweats. But do your drills? Do you have a problem with your drills? The black ones were just terrible. And so when I went back and looked at the hour and a half of diamond painting that I did, I was like just editing everything. And I was not really, I'm still not really feeling good today, but I was like, this is nonsense. I'm just going to start over, So you guys missed me placing these, but you really didn't miss anything because I was struggling throughout the entire thing. It was one big struggle. But I'm going to finish the black, which I'm not happy with. You guys sometimes see me use a spoon to put drills in, and yesterday it was just like one spoon, look through, and maybe only get a few sections that I could place here before it was just like edit it out, just edit it out. Nobody wants to see this. You're going to make everybody else miserable that wants to be diamond painting today because you're struggling so bad. And I think part of it was the weather, but part of it was the black drills were just driving me insane. They were just so I don't know if this is like the last package that I have to open. I think it is, and this is the last of them, and maybe like all the really like cocky ones are down at the bottom. They were just, I was throwing more away than I was actually using, which was making me feel worse and making me more frustrated, but who cares about that? Anyway, I'm trying to think, is there anything from my hour and a half diamond painting to salvage? And there was only one thing that I can tell you. Now, I rolled back this big, huge section to do because the colors are repeating. There is a subtle, it's almost like a collage. You can see it where it goes from dark to light. So pretty. And I love the black because I love the accent that it gives, this definition to Mucha's swirls and designs. But I'm to the point right now, I don't want to diamond paint another square, and I don't want to diamond paint anything that has black in it. I'm just like, I was so over it yesterday, but it is beautiful. And I love these minty greens and these like golden colors and browns. And it does look like there's huge sections of color blocking. And in a way, yeah, there is like, but this is like maybe 3 different colors of green, which is what I love about these Mucha panels that I get from the diamond painting shop, is that there's these very subtle changes in color. Like, you'll kind of like, when you're kitting up, you might say these colors look exactly the same. Why did they put this color and this color so close together? Well, it's the effect that you get after, and it's just absolutely stunningly beautiful. I can't wait to hang this. I also have ideas for this panel and the other panel that I did, the moon. So now I've done the moon from the Star series, which in doing a Mucha masterclass and seeing the Star series, please, diamond painting companies out there, please do the rest of those panels because they're stunning. Maybe I'll pop them up over here. But they're stunning, especially I think it's called the Morning Star. Oh my God, she's just absolutely fabulous. I am gonna pop it up. I'm gonna pop it up in the corner. Oh my God, so stunning. So I have the Moon from the Star series. This is Night's Rest from Times of the Day. And there's one more Mucha that I wanna do unless they do the Star series. And that is Winter. Now there's Winter where she's standing and there's Winter where she's squatting down. And I think when I did last week's Mucha's master class, I did not know that he did his own photography also, which I was just like, oh my God, I've just fallen in love with the master painters that I have decided to paint. And Mucha having this other medium that he controlled where he picked his models and, just made them into these beautiful creations. He studied them in the fabric that he wanted to paint them in. He did take photographs of the models in the fabric, but he also took pictures of them in the same position but nude. And you could see where he wanted to know, the female form and how things would drape or how they should drape. Or, I don't know, maybe, I think I've done all my digging on Mucha. I don't think that I have anything more to add to my masterclass, but I would absolutely think that if he wanted to get into, dress design, he probably could have, because of the way that he did afterward, drape a fabric on a woman's body to create these flowing, and most of his models were not really voluptuous, but the way that he placed the fabric or their pose with like one hip up where the waist was cinched, and the way the arms were placed, the arms looked thinner, the body looked more voluptuous on the top, more curvy in the hip, the way that the fabric was then draped on the model, that he decided that, this is my vision, because the models really were, in my opinion, like skin and bones, and they were very tiny women also. So I think I know the model that he used for the winter scene, because she is in that position where she's squatting down, and then there's another image of her where she's standing. So the winter would be the only one that I would probably want to do if I did another Mucha, which I will, but I think that I want to see what the palette is, and I also want to see how many ABs are in the winter one. If you hear banging in the background, I'm sorry, my neighbor's compressor went, and they have been living without air conditioning for like 3 days, and so work is being done to get them up and running, which is why my air conditioner is off, because we have a breezeway in between our houses, and the guys out there are dying already. They just look like they just look like skeletons walking around in the back trying to fix this compressor, and I don't want to have mine running while they're back there, because it just throws off a bunch of heat. Anyway, so this is where I left off, and I'm trying to think, is there anything that I wanted to salvage from that videotape that I did yesterday? And it would be that once I expose this section of glue, this big panel, I was having a hard time where to put I don't really want to put it here, because then I'm reaching over, drills are falling off because the wax is sweating, and then the putty was just getting stickier. I couldn't put it here, so what I did was I got out a piece of this is Quake putty. I actually threw it in here last night. You can see how stringy it is now, because it's so humid. But this is Quake putty, and I threw it in here with some old wax because I'm not using that. And what I did was I took a couple pieces of this off, and I rolled it, and I made feet for my tray. I only did one here and one here, and I was able to place the tray so that it was close to me but not on my glue. and I was able to pick it up easily and just move it around, but it wasn't sticking to the exposed glue. Okay. So that's probably the only tip that I had for you guys out of that whole video, other than watching me struggle doing the rest of these. Now what I'm going to do is do the rest of the black, because I think that I really did a good job of like sorting through what is salvageable here from this black. And I'm looking at my espresso that is just dying here. I really should have just shot that back. I will in a second. And you know, when you want to do these big panels and you want to be able to have your tray out where you can work, you know, you want your tray nearby. So sometimes I'll pick it up and use it like I would if I was, you know, painting. But I got a kit, and I think I have it down here. Okay, yeah, I do. I'm curious because it's for wax. And it's so the wax, yes, these came with the kit. And these are, if you're interested, while I got this open, these are wax seals, and you put a little candle in here and you burn your wax. You put a candle in here so that you can put your wax in here and melt your wax, and then you're able to stamp it with any one of these seals here. I've been doing a lot of this with my art journaling, and I ordered some extra ones because these were called the Aurora Borealis waxes, but they're all so pretty. I mean, I think they're all so pretty. And oh, they even gave me candles. And then this is if you had like white, well, this is the white wax. Once the wax seal is down, you can just rub some of this on the wax to give it like a little shimmer, a little glow. That's pretty. All right, so I'm wondering, because when I was doing other arts and crafts, I had, I think Tim Holtz makes a piece of like, it's like a giant piece of wax paper, but a little bit thicker than wax paper. Oh, here's one. I'm wondering if, and this kit I got from Amazon, it's called the Seal Wax Set. I think I paid like 20 bucks for it. I'll link it in case anybody wants to get it. I'm into wax seals now. All of a sudden, my career has turned into wax seals. I was even trying to use this to kind of hold my tray, but this eventually did stick to the glue. So I'm just wondering if a silicone mat would stick to the glue. Are you guys looking? This is sticky. Oh gosh, I just tried a little bit. It actually is not, it's not sticking. Oh my God, you guys. Now, I don't know if I have another one in my drawer. I think I gave it away, but let me look. As I roll over the drills that are on the floor, I think I gave it away because I had so many of them. I know they make those sticky mats. Everything is in this drawer. Receipts. Oh, I really thought I had one in here. Oh, I do. I have a new one. Okay, let's see. All right. I need to actually, as you guys take inventory, I have to really actually get in that drawer. I don't believe that this is not sticking. So you could actually put this on your mat. You know what else, you guys? Because I do this all the time. If you have a section of your mat where your hand is always sticking on it, and then you go to diamond paint that area because of the oils on your skin, it's like now, all right, new tip, going in the tip. But these are the sticky mats that you get to hold your, oh, these are really sticky. I'm kind of afraid. No, I would never do that. Would never do that one. No, no. Too sticky, but I will keep you out. I don't even know why what you're doing in the jewel. But there you go, guys. And I believe I have seen these. I have seen these anywhere that you would buy a wax seal set, and I believe I have also seen these on Temu. But how about that? I'm leaving this out because anytime the section is open and you feel your hand, like maybe the side of your hand hitting something, I just love when you buy something and it's like a convertible purchase. You bought it for what you bought it for, but then you can use it for something else. I am so freaking happy right now. Okay, I'm gonna put you here. And you, I don't have any exposed areas, but I do have an area in crimson where I was like, why did I skip over this spot? And I had remembered my hand kept hitting it, or the side of my arm kept hitting it, and the oils from my skin just made that voided. It was like a voided area. You could not put drills down there. I had to go get the Aleenes out, and I just was like, I'm not into, you know, gluing parts of my canvas and waiting for it to dry, and then is it going to dry clear, and then a little bit is not enough, and then like a little bit more is just too much, and then, it was just like I'm not into that. So all right, so we're going to finish this. We're going to finish this border, and not only are we going to finish it, I think I'm going to get rid of the hour and a half that I filmed yesterday, unless there's something else that I can salvage from there. And anyway, how are you all dealing with the heat? I hope no one has been affected by Beryl, even though, you know, I think that is another reason why I just did not have. I really don't watch television. When I watch television, it's because I'm deliberately watching something. It's not because the TV's on in the background and I'm listening to something. If I have anything on in the background, it's because, again, it's deliberate. I'm listening to something deliberately. Time to open the drawer up and get new wax. And one of my new subscribers, and I've also have subscribed to her, called Diamonds and Doxy. I know that she was affected by Beryl, which is just, you know, so sad. I think that she was actually doing her diamond painting prior to anything. She thought maybe she would lose power, and I think that she did, but it was brief. And thank God for that, because I was saying that I never use this blue wax. I'm trying to get rid of these things that I buy, and then I'm like, just throw them away because they don't make you happy. You're not making me happy. My husband loves when I say that. Last night he was bothering me. I was like, you're not making me sleep. But I was saying, you know, when she came on to say, listen, I'm going to do a little diamond painting because I don't know what life is going to be like in the next couple of hours. And it just threw me back to when I lived in Sarasota, which I did. Look, there's another broken one in here. Oh my God. That was the other biggest problem. I know I'm jumping from one thing to the next, but if your lines are not straight and you look at them, there's probably a tab, and here's a tab. More than one on there. And you know, now my lines fall back in. Like here's another one. Oh, not only a tab, are they stuck together? They're stuck together. And so if your lines are broken, it's probably because there's a tab in there or something. And this is just getting on my last nerve. And yesterday, we're not feeling good with the heat. It was, you know, just too much to handle. But I was telling Diamonds and Doxy, you know, like, be careful. I hope nothing, you know, happens. But I was living in Florida. It was my first year in Florida. And I was on my own for the majority of it. as usual, you know, my ex-husband was traveling and I was on my own. Josh was little, he was going into first grade, and I was really getting acclimated to the area on my own. And Josh came home with a hurricane survival kit. And, you know, he was like, Mom, this is what we need. He's like in first grade. We got to get this stuff. And I thought, well, this is a good adventure for us. It's a way for me to learn the area, get acclimated to this new place that I'm living with, have a little something to do with my son. Not that I was bored to do anything out there, but I just thought it was a good project for us. And so we put the map up on the wall, and it was like a big map. It was like a map that you would see like in a newsroom. We put the map up on the wall, and I got him a bunch of push pins, and I said, you know, I was teaching him about hurricanes and how they become hurricanes and how they track hurricanes. And I said, now in the morning, what you could do while we're getting ready for school is you can check the weather in the morning, and we could, you know, track tropical depressions. And when we see a tropical depression, we'll put a push pin in it. And he was getting up every morning, running to the television, had his push pin in his hand. He couldn't wait to see where the tropical depressions were forming in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And he gets his first tropical depression. And every morning it was, you know, the same routine that he was doing. And he was saying to me, like, Mom, do the hurricanes always go like in a straight line? And, you know, let's just say that here is Florida, and my son is putting a push pin in, a push pin in, a push pin in, a push pin in. Now, at the time, I don't know if they do it now, but when they would, now the hurricane is, now the tropical depression, they're saying this is now, we're watching this tropical depression. It's going to be a category 1. And its name's Andrew. And so here's Florida, and they would show you now, it's a hurricane, so they would show you like this spinning wheel. And he's pushing pins, pushing pins, pushing pins, pushing pins. And it's dead on going to hit Florida. It's not moving, it's not deviating, it's not going to make a turn, there's no wind, nothing. And I'm panicked. This is my first year in Florida, and it's going rapidly from a 1 to a 2 to a 3. We think that this could be a 5. Because I learned that when they tell you it's a category 1, be prepared for a category 2. Just like, it's like shoes. Just go up a half an inch or something. And, you know, it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it reminded me, being a kid from the 80s, it looked like a Pac-Man. That's what it looked like, the way that it was just like chomping through the Atlantic Ocean to hit Florida. And I will tell you, it is the eeriest feeling, and visually, people that want to take a chance in staying in their homes, I just don't understand. I just, and then you have people that are just reckless and have hurricane parties, because I don't know, like, you're not getting on an amusement ride where it's like a few minutes long and then you're getting off. You could potentially put your life in danger. And, you know, that a lot of this was going on. But I've always been like a community organizer, and so that was another way for me to get involved with my community and learn who people are, and people in my apartment complex. We were not far from Siesta Key. I was like off the main road that led everywhere, which was Beneva Road, and it was a way for me to get to know organizers, and I've always volunteered for stuff like that. And so, you know, it was like what to do, like, you know, get everything off your decks, bring everything inside. The pool area, we threw all the pool stuff inside the pool. I'm trying to remember, like, you know, just, you know, be prepared, have somewhere to go. We, of course, had the Golf Gate School shelter. which was not far from where I was even working at the time. I was working right off of Siesta Key. I'd look out the window and just see Siesta Key. I was working in a like a mini hospital. We didn't have them here at the time. It was like a minute clinic. They were rampant in Florida, which was a beautiful thing to have like these little mini hospitals, and that's where I worked. But it was getting closer, and it was, you know, we were only on the perimeter of this hurricane, of this monster that when, you know, it was coming in, like it just covered all of Florida. You couldn't even see the state. And the direct hit was McDade County. But just being on the perimeter of it was devastating. It was devastating. And it is so eerie when you have something like this approaching where you live, because I lived off of a lake. I mean, it was a man-made lake, and everything just fell silent. I had these ducks that used to come to my window every day, that would just bang on the window because they would smell me cooking. Everybody barbecued. Everybody put everything on a grill, but I would actually cook, and they would tap on the window. They wanted to eat, and no ducks, none of the little geckos that you see, little chameleons. I remember looking out at the water, and it looked like it was as still as this. It was just like glass. Nothing was moving. It was like the air was being sucked into a vacuum. No animals, no sound, no nothing. And it reminded me of that, I don't know if it was Bewitched or the Twilight Zone, where somebody was stuck inside of an oil painting. That's what I felt like. I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm stuck inside of a portrait. This is so, you know, frightening. So, I mean, I you know, we're getting it now. We're getting the rains here. It poured sheets of, like, you could not see outside yesterday. It was just sheets and sheets and sheets of rain. So we got that yesterday. So I am so sorry if any of you have been affected, and I hope that it was brief and that it was, you know, not a lot of damage, and that you're able to recover quickly. And this is where communities really do come together, and people come together. And it's so sad that we have to have like some kind of disaster for that to happen. But people really do come together, and they really do join hands, and everybody becomes everybody's brother and everybody's sister. So that's my hurricane story. And so believe me, when I see these things forming, I'm catapulted back, but I'm also very hyper aware, and I don't tune into it. I'm not, you know, like, oh, did it hit yet? Some people are just like so attracted to big numbers of destruction when it comes to humanity and the earth. But I just, I stay away from all that. And I'm having a little problem with this wax, or is that the drill? I really should scrape it off, but I feel like if I scrape it off and make it flush, I'm so happy I had another tip for you guys today. That little silicone mat, because I am so tired of leaning my hand on an area of a canvas, and you know, I'm like, oh, I gotta watch what I'm doing. Don't put my arm there, and I do it again and again and again, and then you could see where the oils have landed on this canvas, and you know you're gonna have a hard time with your drills over there, and you got to get the glue out. And my desk right now is a mess, but that's a busy mind. I actually have a sketch pencil out over here. I was sketching the other day. That actually made, yeah. And then I was sketching a beautiful face and didn't realize that this was an aquarelle. And then I went in with one of my mermaid brushes from Jane Davenport, and as soon as I went to go like give her some flesh color, everything, I was like, why is she turning black? Well, because it was an aquarelle, and as soon as it hits water, it becomes a tool that you shade with. I didn't realize that I actually had these pencils in aqua form, but I love it. It's a soft too. It's a 6B, it's real soft, and the shading is incredible in that. So I was going through my art room, and so this week, John had an appointment with his union to get his retirement papers in order. And I had an appointment with Social Security to get my Social Security started. And I said, you know, I want to get a journal together, because not only are we doing that, but John being in the letter carriers, National Association of Letter Carriers, they have retirement homes in Florida that you can apply for, and you can live there year round, you can live there part-time. And I was telling him the whole time before he was retired, put in for Nowcrest, it's in Central Florida, put in for Nowcrest, because we're probably gonna have to go on a wait list. We're gonna go on a wait list. And he waited until now. Did you see all those drills just shoot out all over? He waited until now, so we're number 390 on the list. But the envelope came, and I was like, give me the envelope with Nowcrest on it. I want to put it in our, I'm doing like a little book. Like, I was like, this is the kickoff to our retirement. Like, this is it now. This is what we've been talking about. And we're making plans to like make it happen. And he's like, well, he called them up and he's like, I got your letter. I realized that we're on the list and we're number 390, which is like 3 years. But we could stay there on the off months, which is like the snowbird months, when the snowbirds get out of there when it's too hot. And I've lived in Florida, so that's not going to bother me. And I said, we should really go and check this place out. And so we put it on our list. We made the reservation. We're going to be staying out there in April. Hurricane season kickoff. And we're going to be, you know, checking out this place that we're on the waiting list for. And, you know, does this, because we have people, I have people in Sarasota. He has people in Hollywood. So I have people on the West Coast. And he's got a cousin on the East Coast. When we went to go see his cousin for a holiday, for a Christmas holiday, and I was like, I like the East Coast, but I love the West Coast. I can't remember the beach that he took us to. It's like, Delaney? Oh, I can't think of the name. It's where everybody goes on the East Coast. It's like a big restaurant community, art community, live music community. And this like just draws my husband in, because he's going to go back to, you know, full-time performing. He wants to do that when he retires. You know, he's already setting gigs up and you know, checking out spots. And this community is where he would want to be. But I'm like, you never saw the West Coast, so we have to do that. So being that Nowcrest is in the central part of Florida, I'll be able to get to where I want to go to. He'll be able to get to where he wants to go to with a few hours drive. And we're retired now, so we are going to do the drive to these places. And we're going to do the drive to Florida. And I'm getting wax on, residual wax, and they're clumping up. Boom. So we will drive to Nowcrest. And then, you know, like I said, we might leave a week ahead of time. Maybe we will drive out to see his cousin and stay with him for a little while. He's always telling us, you know, anytime you want to come, the bedroom's yours. It's there. Come and stay with me. So we'll do that. And they'll give us time for him to see the West Coast. You know, I'm like Zsa Zsa in Green Acres, and, you know, he's like her husband. You know, I'm like, I want the Times Square of Florida. You know, and he's like, he's like for all those like down and dirty kind of clubs, and, you know, one of his friends was talking about a campground, and I was like, I never stayed in a campground. Not that I wouldn't, because I love a trailer. If we're getting a trailer, and yep, we're gonna have to stay in a campground, but I want something that moves, that you go in and you park, and then you go, you know, you travel with it. But you know, not that I'm snobby, but I just like, I'm not a camping girl. I'm not. I loved camp. I loved camp because it got me out of Philly. I loved camp because I loved the bus. That's why I loved camp. The only thing I loved about camp was getting the monthly calendar with where we were going. Oh, I wish I was on that community as a kid. I would have had them traveling all over the place. The further we went when I was in camp from Philly, the happier I was. I couldn't wait to get out of Philly. I just wanted to go, like, and I just loved the bus. I loved it. It was so exciting to get on the bus and go somewhere. And not that my parents didn't take me anywhere. My parents took me, you know. My dad, my dad worked for the Federal Reserve, so if they were planning a bus trip to New York, they didn't leave me behind. I went with them. And like he took me to Broadway shows and all that, so I get that kind of thing from him. And like my dad took me to see Cleo Lane as a kid, and he took me to go see Cats on Broadway. So like we shared that kind of stuff. It wasn't often that I got to do those kind of things because like he worked full time, my mom worked full time, and you know, I think on the West Coast there's like more culture, like more museums and stuff that I was attracted to. In Florida, I lived like right near the Ringling Museum, so that was like almost a daily for me to be over there, and you could just sit in his house, and you know, being a person that loves to take pictures and loves to sketch, that was just food for me, you know, to go there while Josh was in school. I would ride the bus, and then I would ride the bus back to home, and then, you know, I worked. I would take, you know, put Josh on my bike, drop him off at school, and my job was at one of these little medical clinics, and right on the beach, and I loved that job too. So I'm looking forward to finally getting back to Florida, because I did leave Florida. The business that we had there, we had opened an Arthur Treacher's, my ex-husband and I, and it's a franchise, you know, and you are beholden to the franchise, and it didn't go well. It was in Tampa, and yeah, we lost everything. I went out there with everything that I had and lost it all. I mean, lost it all. We didn't, you know, my son was a little boy, and so Christmas was like a big thing, and like, oh God, I remember, you know, if it wasn't for my family shipping gifts to him, he would have had nothing under the tree, because we lost everything. And what we had was like for our survival. I was doing the heavy lifting because I had the job with the medical center, and so my paycheck was carrying our rent and expenses. But and my ex-husband wanted to come home, and I was like, home, meaning Philadelphia, and I was like, no way. I just got out of there. I'm not going back. And, you know, eventually you come to your senses, you're married, and, you know, my ex felt as though this was the fastest way for him to recover, to go back to what he knew and, you know, reestablish his business. But that was a tough one. That was tough. And I think that was like the first time that we separated, because I just was so unhappy coming back to Philly. And, you know, everything about it was wrong. You know, my son went back to an environment where he wasn't flourishing anymore, into a Catholic school where it was very stringent and rigid, and he just didn't have that type of personality. And then they wanted to, like, drug him. And, you know, oh, he's, you know, ADD. And I'm like, well, he wasn't ADD in Florida. And so my friends that I made out there, they were like, listen, you get a week's vacation from August right into Labor Day. Why don't you come out here and, you know, you can leave Josh with us. We'll put him back in school, and just, you know, come out here, get set up, and then go back and set up your affairs, and then come back. And that was the plan. I was separated. I did that. I went to Florida and started to make a plan. And my ex-husband at the time, who was MIA, you know, we were separated, was furious that I was, you know, moving forward and just going back. And I don't know what got into him, but he decided to make a drive to Florida and come back and get me. And I don't know if it was a mistake that I came back. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, today I say to myself, you would be living in Florida right now. Like, that's where you would be. That's where you were happy. Who knows what your life would have became. But on the other hand, I think about what my life did become, and I would have missed out on all that. So I don't know. I was newly married. We were like now newly single. And, you know, you have that hope, and, you know, you took that vow, and I had that hope that everything was going to work out, and we were going to, you know, push through these problems that we were having. And, you know, he promised me, like, one day we will come back here. I know how much you love it, but, you know, I don't know. I don't really even know. I think part of it was my parents. My son was very attached to my parents, and I saw the way he was in Florida. He was adopting every older couple that he met in our complex. You know, he would go and visit them and all, and it was because he missed my parents. So that was a big point of me staying. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know about the rest of it. My parents did come out and see me, which was fun. They took the train. They took my ex-husband's grandmother. That was fun. I don't know. You make these decisions in your life. I don't know. I don't even know how I got on this subject. Oh, hurricane. Aren't our lives all hurricanes? We're just really looking for the eye of the storm, because that's where it is calmest, is when you are in the eye of the storm. Did you ever notice that? The center of this storm is usually, not usually, is where it's the calmest. And, you know, you have to be able to stand in your center and stay calm. But I think I have one more row of black here. Now, something else that I had taught you guys, I take my plastic and put it back over, and I could feel very easily with my hand where a drill is sticking up. You hear that? Here's another one here. You could just feel it with your hand instead of trying to strain your eyes looking for it. Oh, here's one. You can hear it popping back in. The rest are nice and smooth, except for this one that's popped out of the tray. And even if you did have to align, if you put your plastic back on top, you can align very easily with your aligner, because you have some slip here with this plastic on top. and you'll be able to cut through your lines very quickly, very smoothly, if you need to. These are pretty straight. So I did on Wednesday. Tuesday night, I was like, I don't know if it was the heat. I don't know if I was going temporarily insane. I made this graphic and decided to put it up. And it was about meeting in the morning for a live WIP Wednesday. And I put it up and I was like, am I ready to do a live? I don't even know what to do. I don't even know. You know, I think I had tried it once and the orientation of my phone was wrong, but I think now you can go either way, or maybe it was always that way. I don't know. I was like, just put it up. If you put it up, you have to do it. And, you know, okay, maybe you didn't have a lot of time to promote WIP Wednesday, but let it just be like you would a restaurant, like a soft opening. Just, you know, get your feet wet, get in there. And so that's what I decided to do. And I saw people clicking on and off. I was nervous because it's not like I thought about this. I have a script. What am I talking about? I just really was just, and this is how I do things. I think this is how I bolster my courage in my life, is to just jump in. Just jump in. You know, is the water cold? Just jump in. Jump in the pool, get in. And I saw people clicking on and off, and I said, you know, somebody please say hello to me. And Life with Natty, who's one of my subscribers, we sparked up a conversation and it went really well. I didn't know she was one of my subscribers, so I got to meet one of my subscribers, but I also got to meet her, and she's a diamond painter, and I got another place that I like to hang out and watch a diamond painter. And she was doing a canvas that reminded me very much in the style of Curtis Reikovich, but hers was from Diamond Art Club. And so she's talking about her kids and her pets, and she's pregnant and her baby's coming, and, you know, just trying to plan. And, you know, we worry about all the things that we worry about, but very, very sweet. I had a very nice conversation with her, and I was so happy to meet her and talk to her. And this one has a big hole in it, a big hole. It was so nice just to meet, you know, someone that is listening to me and be able to have a conversation and talk and share ideas and, you know, opinions about diamond paintings and stuff. And I was like, I really love this. I love it. And I think what I'm going to do is every WIP Wednesday, I'm going to have a live at 10 a.m. And I love the fact that I walk away from being with my community and talking to them and not having to edit anything. I don't have to look at the footage, edit it out. You know, maybe Fufi's acting up or tapping me. Like, that's all in there, and that's just the way that it is. And that's what Natalia, but her friends call her Natty, was saying that, you know, I was like, oh, are your kiddos in the video with you? And she's like, no, I kind of do it when they're sleeping. But I kind of like those. I mean, I totally understand people don't want their kids on their video. I get it. But, you know, sometimes kids just pop up and they get up in your grill and they're asking you like silly questions. And I could be up all night long watching Instagram footage of kids, and funny things that they do, kids with their cats. Right now there's a video that's viral of a little girl arguing with the ice cream man because of the price that he was charging for an ice cream cone. I'm sure you've seen it. She's hysterical, and she's British, and she has, you know, just the accent and you know, the I can't call it a slang, it's the way that they speak. And, you know, she's getting so flustered about the price of the ice cream cone for her and her sister. And she's telling her mother about it, who's capturing it all. And she's so mad. And she's like, yeah, and I bet he can hear me too from that truck. You know, So funny. Such a spitfire. I have a few that I see I missed here. So I could be up all night. So it was very nice meeting Life with Natty, N-A-T-I. And check her out. I mean, I think you'll enjoy her content and you'll enjoy listening to her. And so, okay, so Wednesdays, I'm thinking about doing a WIP Wednesday live at 10. And then, of course, on Saturdays, we have our Mucha here. We talked a little bit about Mucha today, nothing too intense. And where's this other one here? And then on Sunday, of course, is Self-Care Sunday, which I had to do in the evening last weekend. And I kind of thought, well, I kind of like the idea of a Sunday wind down, right? Because like Sunday's just a fun day. You want to get up, you want to go to brunch, you want to, do all the things that you can't do because you're at work. You don't want to be sitting in front of your computer. Maybe you do. But I think the majority of people are out. They're out on a Sunday. They're doing their Sunday brunch. They're meeting friends. They're getting together with family. They're doing all that. And so I said, I kind of like a Sunday wind down. Not wine, but we could. Not W-I-N-E, but a Sunday wind down, because I hear this a lot, especially from my friends. They'll get up on Sunday and they'll have plans to go out and do things, whether, like John and I like to catch an early matinee. If there's a movie that we both want to see, we love the idea of catching an early matinee and then being out in Jersey and then doing some shopping, getting out of Philly. So I just thought, well, I kind of like the idea of a Sunday wind down. And like I said, my friends, they get up on a Sunday and they're anxious. They want to enjoy the day, but they're anxious about the week ahead. And I used to, I worked 7 days a week. I don't think that I ever had like just Sunday anxiety, but I know that it exists. I see it with my husband when he has, he works 6 days a week, he has 1 day off. And it's like, oh my God, I have to go back there tomorrow. I have to go back to work on Monday, and then the whole week ahead. And it just starts to like, and so we're coming into, I think there's maybe 2 more weeks of the listening path, which is my Self-Care Sunday read. And I believe that Sunday tomorrow is going to be listening behind the veil. So we've listened to others. We've listened to ourselves. We've listened to our higher self, our inner voice, and this one is listening behind the veil. And very interestingly, yesterday I was listening to Simon Cowell, because I listened to, when I do have the television on, one of the YouTube channels that I watch is Diary of a CEO. And I really didn't know, how do I feel about Simon Cowell? But I know that he's interesting. I know that he has a lot of energy. I know that he's creative, and I began to listen to his story, and it's a long interview. I think I've been listening to this now for like 2 weeks, but very much his upbringing, which was not anything, he wasn't born into money, but he did find himself attracted to the music business, but doesn't know how to read music, doesn't know how to make a record, and look at what he has become because of his tenacity of just being a force in the music industry and wanting to learn. And there's a side of him that is very sensitive and very grounding, very introspective. And I think that his life has changed a lot since he's had his little boy, who has really grounded him. Just getting rid of that phone call. So that was interesting, and I got to thinking, well, what is my next read going to be? And so I have a few, I take books from my library that I constantly turn to, and the listening path is just a short 6-week journey into the Artist Way, because the Artist Way was supposed to be my kickoff for 2024. And then 2024 was just like, hey, no, we're not just going to give you COVID. We're going to give you a bunch of stuff that you have to deal with, and you're not going to be able to do this artist way. So the listening path is a 6-week as compared to the 12-week artist way. It's a 6-week artist way program. And I think that we should do a check-in too. Like, how are you guys making out with your morning pages? Are you writing? How are you making out with your artist dates? What are you doing? Anything that you want to share? And then there's the walking meditation that you do, which my grandmother taught me a long time ago, when she would say to me, Elisa, go out, go take a walk. You just have too much energy. Try and get some clarity. So we have that. And then also WIP Wednesday is a way for me to also, I feel like I do a spiritual reading every day in my own life. And it's usually Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. And I kind of miss having that book on a Sunday. So I incorporated it into WIP Wednesday, because what is Wednesday? It's hump day. And this week I did a reading, actually the reading for the day of Wednesday's date, which I think was the 9th. And it just, as always, you know, when you have, I think this happens in yoga a lot too. You go to a yoga class and you take out of it something that is going on in your life. And so with the unbearable heat and the weekday, the midday slump, the reading was just perfect for WIP Wednesday, of being able to tie in annoyance, is what Mark was talking about. You know, these things in our life that annoy us, and that we swat them away, and that we, you know, kind of like a bee buzzing, which was what the reading was about, around you. And, you know, but also not allowing other things in our life. And are they really annoyances, or are they fear? And, you know, sitting with yourself and trying to decipher, am I really annoyed with this particular person? And why am I annoyed with them? And so that was my talk for WIP Wednesday. So Wednesdays, 10 a.m. live for WIP Wednesday with Book of Awakening. And then Saturday until the end of July, we have Mucha going on here. I don't think that this canvas is going to be completed, and that's okay. I will put it away, and maybe it'll come out next summer with the Masters. So up until July, we have Saturdays with Summer with the Masters. And how are you doing with that? I'm not really checking in with anybody. I'm just kind of like doing my own thing. I'm not really reading boards, watching videos, you know, looking for keywords and dropping comments. I'm not doing any of that. I haven't really bought from any of the distributors that have decided to very graciously give us discounts and stuff to stuff that you're buying anyway. You're buying it anyway, so you might as well join in and get a discount. So I haven't done any of that. And then on Sunday is Self-Care Sunday. And so I was thinking about a read that I haven't read in a while, and I'm about, yes, of course, a spiritual path, but also a creative path. And that's what the Artist Way is. The Artist Way is a creative journey, a recovery of your creative journey, not just a creative journey, but a recovery of your creative journey through the writing, the walking, the meditation, and, you know, the storytelling that Julia does in the listening path. But one other thing that I wanted to say was what book I was going to pull from my shelf for. I believe that next week will be the last. It's probably going to coincide perfectly with Summer with the Masters. I think Summer with the Masters is going to end, maybe the following week after the next. And I think the listening path is also going to tie up. So I was thinking, this is a book that I have not read in a while, and when I read it, I could not put it down, and it's Big Magic from Elizabeth Gilbert. I think if you are on a creative path, if you are curious about anything that has to do with creativity, how to be creative, what creativity is, I love Elizabeth Gilbert. I love the way she writes. She just has an uplifting, onward is her word. Onward. Personality, that pushing forward, and but also talking about her own anxieties and how she does push forward. And I just remember bits and pieces of that book that really anchored into my own nervous system when it came to creativity. And I just thought Big Magic is such a wonderful book to do creatively for Self-Care Sunday. That's all I got. That's it. I'm wrapping up, but I'm going to show you this bar here. I think what I'm going to do is what I always do is just hang it back up, and so you can see the whole canvas. Be right back. She actually needs a few more clips because she is so heavy now. I think it's probably going to be near impossible for me to have this hanging on my door for much longer. But there's that gorgeous border. Look at that yellow. Oh my gosh, it's stunning. I love it. Can I zoom in on that? Oh gosh. So pretty. Really pretty. You can see where I left off. I love how the gown goes right into the border behind this window. There was also a very gothic feel to some of Mucha's paintings. And you can see like that window frame. And again, only half done on the top. It was my idea to come down one, I started in the middle and over, and then come down and then do the bottom, go straight across, which that really only took me, you know, including today, maybe 2.5 hours. And then come up here, finish the top. I have to put some time into her. I also forgot to tell you guys, I'm still working on the confetti, that class that I want to do. And it seems like every time I think I got enough of my notes and things nailed down, something else comes in. I just love looking at this painting from the side, and I love looking at it from a distance because I think more of the details just so beautifully come into focus. Gosh, she's stunning. Oh my gosh, look at that brown that's underneath the pillow, the cushion that she's leaning on. Oh gosh, and that pooling of fabric on the bottom is just going to look stunning. And again, that delicate foot. All of Mucha's models had these delicate feet and hands. Beautiful hands. Gorgeous hands. Gorgeous women. And there he is. He's just waiting for a bird to land on his step. He's just waiting. He's patrolling the area. Hope you guys are enjoying this weekend and the weather. I hope that you're staying cool, and I hope that you're enjoying the sun. I hope you're at the beach and making the most of this heat wave that we are under, most of us along the East Coast. And as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe, share, and I will see you in the next one, which will be tomorrow. Bye.